So for today, we're gonna be doing some. We're gonna be doing our final lesson, I guess. If you guys didn't see, I posted in the Discord the final code if you need that. If you want to check it out at all, and also just an outline as well. It's just a PDF for you guys, but it's just in Notion for me. But yeah, so you guys can just check that out if you need help following along, I guess. But I first start for this just general lesson, we're going to be covering the front end development. So last component of web development. This is a lot of the work that I do. A lot of just it's more of the design focused aspect of web development, as well as just tying everything together, seeing how back end and front end can integrate with each other. So yeah, so this is just an example website, I guess, of just showing you different components that we could have some headers, just some text. We can have a picture, can make it round as well. We can have links where it can go to my actual website. We can also have buttons and click it. Oh, it says you clicked me. So that type of thing. That's what we're gonna be, I guess, coding today. Feel free to I don't know, if you're fast enough with your fingers, replace it with whatever you want. But yeah. So just the first thing on our list in the menu today is when we're introducing HTML and showing off tags and texts. So I'm going to make a new file called just index.html. And this is something called an HTML file. And in our HTML file, I'm just going to generate a template. So in HTML, it's basically a way for us to tell the browser what we want to show when we load a web page. So just a general overview of the structure of this basic HTML is that at the top we just specify that this document is an HTML document. There's something called XML as well, but we're just looking at HTML. So doc type HTML, and then in HTML there's something called the concept of tags. So as you can see, each block or each just element has two of these caret kind of looking signs. So we have head, and then we have just its ending. So it's /head. So as you can see, all of these smaller components are children of this larger head thing. So and then everything in here in between is children of this HTML tag. So we always start off with an HTML tag to specify this in HTML. And then we have two components, the head and the body. So the body is where all of our actual content is going to be. And then the head is going to be where we store some of the data we want on our web page that we want the browser to see. So for example, we have these meta tags, and meta tags just talk about the just the metadata. So example, like a description. Here we have the viewport. We also have the character set. We also have the title as well. I'm just gonna rename the title Kevin's personal website, and I'll just reveal this in File Explorer. We can actually just click this and just be in our browser. Our browser can actually serve this file, this HTML file, and as you can see, the title up top. This is where the title is, Kevin's personal website. All right. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'd just like to show you guys. If you inspect element, if you've ever seen those, people always memeing about inspect element. This is how you can see the HTML content though, right? You can see that the head is, Kevin's personal website. It's the exact same as what I had here, right? And then we have the console, and then all this other stuff. But mainly, we got these elements. I don't know, if you go to any website, you could inspect this. It has a bunch of stuff. But yeah, just an introduction, like I said, to just the browser, and there's dev tools. All right, let's add some content now. All right. So this is the content I'm going to be adding, and I'm just going to be going through like what this is. So in the body, this is where all our actual content is going to be. And first off, we add a header. So H1 means a header, so this is kind of like a title. And then there's 6 different headings that are possible. So H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. So H1 is the one that has the largest size, and then H6 is the smallest. So H3 would be, this is kind of like a subtitle. This is our title. We can also have different types of other tags, like an image as well. An image. We can also, each of these tags, we can have properties as well. Like this meta tag has a name equals viewport. This image has a source for like where the asset is. So we should do assets profile.png. Then we have P, which is for paragraph, and then we just put in text in between them. So if we're gonna do that though, I'm just gonna make a folder called assets, and then I'm gonna get a nice picture of me, myself. Put that in there. Headshot. Wow, what a beautiful picture. I'm just gonna rename it to profile.png. Now yeah. So we have some content. Let's just reload this file, see what's up. Oh, wow, that's a very big face. Very handsome face. But yeah, you can see we have some headings. So our biggest heading, which is my name. Subtitle, so web developer, is an H3. A very big image because there's a very big resolution. We just have a paragraph below. All right. So as you can see, I've added, different types of stuff. What was it again? Let's just check. Oh, also, I might want to add a link as well. You can also add links. It's not in this, but I have this as well. You can add a link. So a link has an A in it, and then we have something called hyperreference, so href, and it's a link to my actual website, and then we can have some text inside of it. And then if we just reload this, or just have to save this, reload this, we can have a link, and then we can hover it and stuff. We click it, goes to my actual website. But yeah, just showing you guys off the different elements, really, different elements of HTML, what's possible. All right, so the next thing we're going to be looking at is just maybe adding some style, because I don't know, this image is kind of too large. We got to make it smaller. So we can do something called inline styling, as you can see. So we're going to be adding that style just to some of our elements right now. So let's just look at, this header. Maybe I want to make it in the center, I want to make the text align in the center. So I can do that actually. Save that. Reload that. Oh, now it's in the center, right? You know what? Maybe I want this one, to have a color. I want the text to be a color. Maybe blue. Maybe blue. Oh, it's blue now, right? If you guys get the gist of everything. And then this image as well. Maybe I want the width to be 50 pixels. This is just one of the units, pixels. If you guys have ever seen font sizes, like in pixels, this is what this is. Maybe, and then the height just scales automatically. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I can also maybe like stretch this out weirdly. It'll look really weird. It's just really weirdly stretched out. But yeah, as you guys can see, we can add style to our elements, and then as you can see, we have different things. The thing is though, is that this is kind of annoying as hell if we have a bunch of headers that are the same, and we keep having to type style. So what we can do is we can add a property known as classes. We can also add a property known as IDs as well. So each element in HTML has this property that we can add to it. We can add a class. So we can have multiple elements that have a class. So we can do, we can make both of these have a class of header. But the thing about an ID is that it has to be unique. So we can make this ID profile. Now the thing is though is that these IDs have to be unique. So this cannot have an ID called profile. It cannot. And an element can have a class and an ID. And you'll see how classes and IDs are useful for differentiating elements and being able to select elements as well. So our next step is just to show you CSS. So CSS is basically what we're doing before, that styling language, but we're able to just apply it to multiple things. So first, I will add a new file called index.css, and just in here, we can select different elements. Like we can select all of the HTML elements. We can make the font family a different font, for example. We can select all of the body. We can make the background color. We're going to do it in hexadecimal this time. All right, that orange. We can make everything align in the center. Now, like I've talked about before with classes and IDs, now here we can select all elements with the header, header class, and we can make it so that maybe text align center. Maybe we want the color to be, green. That might look ugly, but yeah. But we can do this. Thing is though, that when I reload the page, it doesn't do anything. The reason why is because we need to link this file to this HTML file. We need a way to be able to get it in here, all the content. So what we can do is in the head, just like I said, how we just add some useful information, we can also add a link to some of the assets we have, and we add this link, and we have to specify that it's a style sheet, so it's a sheet that specifies the style of everything, and then its reference should be index.css. All right, and when we reload the page, it should be that. It's orange. This color is kind of disgusting, but yeah. And then this image is a little bit still too large, so let's add some CSS just to make that a little bit more proper. So as you can see, when we're selecting classes, we add a dot in the front. When we're selecting IDs, we have a hashtag. So profile. As you can see, this image has the ID profile, so that's what it will select. And we make the width 25%, so 25% of its parent. So as you can see, with HTML, everything's nested and stuff. This image parent would be the body. So that's what it would be. So, and the body, we already know, is just the entire screen. So the width is just going to be 25% of our screen. Height should be automatic, so it scales properly. And if we just reload this, it's a lot better. With those rounded edges, we can also add something called border radius. And what that does is it makes it so it's round. It's nice and stuff. All right, but yeah, and then also when I inspect elements, as you can see, you have the styles tab, and you can see any of the when you're hovering over any of the HTML elements, you can see any of the styles it has. So body has these. And then just the way HTML works is that any styles applied on HTML, like on your parent, will then trickle down to to its children. So any styles of HTML will trickle down to any elements in body, and then it'll trickle down to any of these as well. So that's how it works. Because it's called cascading style sheet, so it cascades from parent to child, and that's basically the way it works. All right. So now that I've really shown you HTML and CSS, I haven't really gotten into any specifics, but you can do that on your own time. Maybe make a better looking website than this. But next we're gonna actually get into getting some code in here. So we're gonna get into JavaScript and how we can add that. So of course we can have maybe a new we can have some JavaScript, and the way we add JavaScript to our function code is the best practice is at the end of our body we can add a script tag, and this script tag, any content inside of it will run as JavaScript. So this is just your basic hello world. And this script tag can actually go anywhere. It can go in the head, but it's best for performance reasons to put it at the end of the body. And as you can see, if we just reload this page, we inspect console. This console is where all the logs are going to be. So you can see here. And this JavaScript code is actually running on your browser. So that's how it works. So when you're viewing all this stuff, viewing this HTML page, it will then also send over this JavaScript code as well, and then the JavaScript code will run in your browser. So that's why, Google Chrome, you might have a lot of RAM usage, and you might be wondering like, oh, what the hell is happening? It's because your browser, like your computer, is actually like running code. So yeah, just back to this. Now the thing is though is that, like I said before, just doing inline stuff is not really that great. It's kind of redundant. So what we can do is we can delete this, and we can actually link this to a JavaScript file. So, and then we can make an index.js just here, and in this index.js we can do console.log links file. Yeah, okay. And then if we just reload this page. Linked file. Cool. Right? Alright, now let's add a little bit more. Let's show you guys why people even use JavaScript in the front end. And that's to manipulate the HTML elements. We can we can change things. As you guys saw before, like we had the button there, with the click. So we can add actually a button. I'm just gonna add a button here. So here's the button. We have an ID. Just click me button. The type is going to be button. These are just some default properties. And then on click, we can call this function. Okay, cool. We can call this function. If we're going to call this function, then in our index.js file, we have to specify a function. So function show text. Okay. And in here, we might want to, we console.log again, but if we want to manipulate stuff, and this is why IDs and classes come into handy once again, you can have an object called document. So the document is just our HTML, like that's what the document is, and it has a method called getElements by ID, as well as you can get the elements by class as well. We'll just get the click me button, and then its property, its inner HTML like text should be you click me. That's an example of something. If we reload this page, if you click it, you clicked me. Wow, incredible. Now, even though we're on JavaScript, I just want to explain something with just styling and stuff. So as you can see, okay, so these elements are on new lines, but then when I have this and then I have this one, why is it not on a new line? Why are they all in the same line? and that's something called display, the type of element, what it is. So these are called block elements. So they will always create, like, they will always occupy a single line. So it's very selfish. And then these type of elements are called inline elements, and they will just take up whatever space they need. So buttons and links are all inline elements. So if I just go to here and I just change a property but the click me button, just make this display block. As you can see, they're on different lines now. And then also there might be some weird spacing, so I just add a class here, link. I just want to add a property about link. Link. I'm gonna add some margin. Maybe 5 pixels. And then I'm gonna also add something called padding, 5 pixels. And I'm just introducing the concept. Okay, so there's a little bit of spacing now. I'm gonna inspect element though, to show you guys. So in this computed tab, you can see the margin in the padding, right? So this padding is just surrounding this. The difference between margin and padding is that padding adds to the element. So it includes that width, includes that content. It's like white space, if that makes sense. So you can see as 5 all around. Margin though is the spacing between elements. So that's really just the difference of margin and padding. You guys can do a little bit more research. I'm just telling you guys to, be aware of this. But yeah, because not everyone's interested, necessarily in styling, as I might have. Let's get back to JavaScript after that aside. So with our JavaScript, we've already done some stuff. Now we can start really connecting everything together. All right. So in order to connect everything together, I'm going to create a server, server.js, just a server file with Express. If you guys were here for last week, this would have been pretty obvious as to what it is. It's going to initiate. It's going to initiate package.json and install Express, and it's going to install these packages. If you guys weren't here for last week, basically I'm able to make a server using something called Express Node.js, and it just allows me to basically make it like a HTTP, API, as you can see. And what it will allow us to do is on our front end, on our HTML file, like our front end with the JavaScript, I'll be able to call the server and get data back. And that's one of the main ways to just be able to communicate. All right, so this is what we have so far, and just make sure this is running. So I'm just gonna start the server. All right, listening at this, and then I'm going to in our front end. So when I click the button, I also want to maybe console.log fetch and then console.log a result. So JavaScript has something called the fetch function, which allows you to fetch data from anywhere. I did localhost 3000/data, and then .then, just console.log this response, error, it will just showcase the error. I just want to show you guys that you can request stuff. If I inspect the console, I actually need to most likely reload this. All right, so that's working, and I need to click the button. Clicked me. If I inspect element, response. So we have the response just with all the HTTP response with all the data it has, OK, type cores. And also, this is a bug that you guys might not understand, but when you guys are starting out, it might help you guys. So basically, there's something called cores. It's cross-origin something something, and it basically makes it so that if you have two URLs that are like different, like two like domains that are different, so this has like a domain of just myself, and then my server has a domain localhost 3000, it will not allow you to request. So for example, that would be, it's kind of like google.com requesting from facebook.com, right? It will not let you unless you make sure to specify cores, that you're using cores. So just keep that in mind, I guess. Keep that in mind that cores exist. So it might help you guys out. If you guys run into this bug, it might not be understanding what it means. But yeah. So basically, as you saw, I requested from the server. That's cool and dandy dandy. All right. And just our final thing, pretty simple. Now, what if we want to like serve this HTML file on a server? Express can do that. All right. So let's just make a new route. I'm actually gonna copy and paste this. New get route. So every time like we get, so it's gonna send. So it's at our base, just our root directory. We're going to send them a file, and we're going to send them an HTML file. That's what's going to happen. Cool. That's how that works. And then, though, if we just restart this server, all right, just restart the server. Now, when we go to localhost 3000, gives me my website. Cool. Thing is, though, is that where the hell did all the JavaScript and all the styling go? You know, like, what the hell? What happened? So on this server, we need to also just serve all these static assets, like this index. Like we're giving them this file, but we're not. The way HTML works is that, it assumes that just on the server, it's like got its directory and all that data and all that jazz. So basically, it expects if we did localhost 3000 index.css, it would work, but the server's not hosting this file. The way HTML works though is that with the links and stuff, it would expect /assets/profile.png. So this directory, like localhost, it would look at this and then be able to serve you the correct data. That's just not, right now, we're not really serving any of this data. So the way we do that is just in Express. We can do this. So express.use static public. So what that does is we can make a public folder, and then it will serve any of this stuff that's in the public folder. We just move this to public, all this in public, assets as well. See this? And people run start. Wow, now if we do localhost 3000 /index.css, this file is going to be served. So these are all something called static assets, because they're all just, something that needs to be, there, that like when we go to this directory gets served. But yeah, when we go to localhost 3000, we just get our website. Cool, isn't it? And then for the most part, the only thing I haven't touched here is like dynamic websites, where like we do templates and stuff, where we can inject data and we can have everything on the same server. That's something I don't really do, honestly. Just calling your server is honestly enough. And really, that kind of ends my presentation, guys. Hopefully you guys that was brief enough for you guys to find that interesting. And I guess we have maybe some questions, I guess. Just some question time. Just to hit these. Okay, so does JS go from top to bottom in terms of execution like Python? It does. It does for the most part, I believe. And then Luke saying functions are hoisted, asyncs operations run asynchronously, but otherwise, yeah. All right, so you answered his question. All right, guys, that is it for me for this presentation. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them, and make sure to answer them. Anyone? All right. It seems like I gave such a banger of a presentation that you guys understood everything. You guys could see everything. Now you guys are interested in web development, which I would be happy for. All right.